Have you ever wondered what things guests secretly hate about weddings? By secretly, I mean won't tell you to your face, but will tell everyone on TikTok. Well, we have them all rounded up. And there's a lot of parts of wedding days, so there's a lot of things that guests can like maybe hate. But to start, do guests enjoy weddings? Sure, of course. But most of all, they enjoy you the most. So, you know what's better than a wedding? I mean, maybe an elopement. But let's just jump in here. So, what guests secretly hate about weddings, and we're going to kind of break this down into the reception part. The first thing, when the music is too loud. I mean, amen, sister. You won't catch me in a bar where I can't hear the person I'm trying to talk to. And the same goes for weddings. Congratulations, you booked a DJ, you booked a band. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to hear. It's a wedding, not an EDM festival, folks, okay? And bonus points, if you're like, I need to have a loud dance floor, this is my jam, I must have this, then have an area farther away where there are cocktail tables and couches and chairs and a place to sit where people who do just want to chit chat can do that away from the noise. Okay, another thing guests secretly hate about weddings is the garter toss. Abso-fucking-lutely, my friends. To be honest, I don't think this one is much of a secret. Maybe it's just the feminist in me here, but no one needs to be all up and literally under the wedding dress with their teeth. Grandma's watching! Parents are watching. In recent years, I've seen most brides dropping this tradition, but every now and then it bears its cringeworthy head, and I'm just like, why? What is keeping this alive? Tell me what it is. Another thing that guests hate along the same lines is the bouquet toss. While this remains more popular than a garter toss, we heard that this tradition is secretly hated for the gathering of all single ladies. Rounding up the unwed and making them jump to see who gets married next, yeah, we get it. I think this is also kind of along my feminist rant of like, why are the single ladies getting called out and making it be like social standard that like they must get married? It feels weird. I think you also lose points for playing All the Single Ladies by Beyonce. If we're not playing that on the dance floor just as a normal song, then like, let's just like not pretend that we're Beyonce people, okay? So let's turn this one on its head and play Miley's I Can Buy Myself Flowers and no one fights for a ring from their partner, okay? Here's what I'm gonna say another section to talk about is the kids situation. Something that wedding guests secretly hate is kids running around. Yes, the all caps here is not an accident. I don't know if you like heard it in my voice. Some guests really secretly hate at weddings having kids there, even those who have kids themselves. One of my favorite things about weddings that don't have kids is that everyone who is there is really a part of the wedding and it's really intentional and no one is running around like ferals. So there are some people who, and again, like there's a lot of nuance to this. If you have kids and you are getting married, of course, your sweet kids are going to be there. If you have immediate family who you are really close to and specifically close to those kids and you want them there, like you got to do what you got to do. But guests usually are like, they want to sip a cocktail and party with their girlfriends on the dance floor. So there's that, kids. Let's talk about the photos. So things that guests secretly hate about the photos is waiting around for the wedding party to take photos. This is why it's great to make a photo list with the photographer in advance of like the exact breakdown that you need to know. The other thing is if you're planning on having a first look, which means you see each other before the ceremony, that means you can get your wedding party photos out of the way before your guests even arrive, girlfriend. And that makes it so much better for you as well, because then you, instead of taking pictures during your cocktail hour after your ceremony, you get to have the appetizers and cocktails that you painstakingly ordered from the caterer and party right after the ceremony. It's much a win-win. Something else that people hate are people taking pictures with cell phones. Oh my God. Yes, this is a good one. Specifically at the ceremony, right? Like you can take your pictures the rest of the wedding day, like, that's not really going to get in anybody's way. But when it really rubs people the wrong way is when you're up there at the ceremony in your seat with your phone in front of your face, when you really could just like lower it down and be intentional at the ceremony. The bride and groom, well, our couple, right? Whoever it is, our couple has hired this photographer to be there on their wedding day. And the photos that I guarantee you, they do not want to get back are the ones with only everybody's face in front of their phone for their ceremony. That is what they don't want. So do everyone a favor and put your phone down during the ceremony. Here's another one. I don't like to see guests posting about the wedding and reception before the couple does, right? It's their day, not your party, nor place to do so. This drives me a little crazy. You wouldn't post somebody's baby without them posting first, would you? If the answer is yes here, please reevaluate. I know how exciting it is to be at someone's wedding, but please let them do the honors of the first post. So we've talked about reception, we've talked about photography. Let's dive into things that guests secretly hate about the wedding food. First, cash bar. Let's just skip the cash bar and hit up Costco for provisions. Am I not just talking for alcohol? The cash bar can be extra annoying because you have, as a guest, you have paid so much money just to be there at the wedding. So when you're like, oh man, I have to pay $8 a cocktail, not only is it kind of like, a bummer that you can't just like party and not have to worry about it, but you probably didn't put that into your budget, right? So that's why it's annoying. The second thing people hate is buffets and running out of food. I think it's impossible to like enjoy yourself when you're worried that you can't eat as much as you want. That is literally the worst. And, if you have a talented wedding planner and a caterer, I mean, like, knock on wood for me, this has never happened at any of my weddings because I am just like, do not let the guests get hangry. I will have pre-wedding treats for you. I will have cocktail hour appetizers for you. I will have dinner. I will have cake. I will have late night snacks. I will have doggy bags for you to take out. I mean, I'm just like so hanger averse. And this is probably something more about me than about anyone else. But I'm just like, do not run out of food. Okay. For the love of God. Like do not do it. Something else that guests secretly hate is smashing the cake in the face instead of feeding gently. I'm convinced the guest that complained about this was just mad that they didn't get any cake. So, maybe it's that. Cupcakes. People are secretly mad about cupcakes because they want a piece of cake. They want a whole piece of cake. I get it. Sometimes weddings get a little too on trend. Donut walls have their days. We love them. We are done with them. Bring back the cake. That being said, I'm also a really, really big fan of dessert bars, which means like you can have a cake as well in there, right? Like you can have a cake too, but like dessert bars of lemon meringue tarts and brownies and chocolate mousse cups. And like literally like the sky is the limit. You know me, I love to eat, be it normal food or dessert food. So this is something that is like near and dear, near and dear to my heart. So we talked about that. Let's segue into dances and what guests hate about dances. The first thing that guests secretly hate about weddings is the dollar dance. Ah, yes. After you have already given a gift, to then feel like you have to give money on top of it can be tacky. Also, when you're slipping money into the couple's clothes, it gives the garter ick. Keep creepy uncles and just any other creeps away, please. Like, no, thank you. No, thank you. The other thing about this is that who is carrying around cash? Is that just me? Am I the only one who, like, the last thing I'm bringing to a wedding is cash? I'm sorry. No, thank you. Second thing people hate is the YMCA. Why is this song still in circulation? I feel like you're either team group dances or you ain't. The elder generation seems to really like the YMCA, but the TikTok day and age, certainly there are more song dance options out there. One of them, I'm probably going to date myself, being the cha-cha slide, motherfuckers. I love a good cha-cha slide, whatever. So let's talk a little bit more about ceremonies and speeches. One of the things that guests secretly hate is when the maid of honor and the best man want their 5 minutes or 10 minutes of fame. They make their speeches so long and they try to be funny and they tell jokes that only a handful of people might understand. Everyone is kind of bored out of their minds, and I usually finish the champagne before we actually toast. So, and this was written in by someone. So this usually paints quite a picture, but this person isn't necessarily wrong, which is why we love a good, like, curated, short, sweet toast from our maid of honor and best man. I love warm, like kind of the mixture of like funny and also heartwarming. But please, like, keep it at like 3 to 4 minutes. Short and sweet. It makes the impact and you're done, which I really love. Things that people hate are really long vows. And, I think it's hard because I think your vows should be as long or as short as you want. I think what you end up sharing in front of everyone, that is something that you could definitely curate for your guests. So if you're like, hey, I want to have a vow that is literally like, 4 pages typed, then that's something that you can definitely share with each other privately before the ceremony or even during sunset after the ceremony. But having these long, 5+ minute vows each in front of all your guests, they hate it. They are not a fan. I promise you. Something else that the people have written in and say that they hate is when people have the ceremony and the reception in 2 separate places and at different parts of the day. So I'm a little biased here because I made my sweet guest, and this is probably something they hated. I should probably ask them if they hated it, but something that I did, I had my ceremony up in Glacier National Park, which is quite a drive. It is beautiful, right? But like quite a drive to get there, quite a shindig, quite a thing. And then we had the reception 2.5 hours away the next day in the evening. So I bet people were like, what the fuck to all of this? And they probably hated every part of it. Something else that people hate are complicated ceremonies, right? I don't mind long ceremonies. I just want to know what's happening. I like it when either the officiant explains before something happens or there's some kind of like bulletin. Honestly, I don't think there's any reason to have a complicated ceremony unless we are religious and we want to have a Catholic ceremony, of which I think having a little program with the lyrics of the hymns and the process of events is usually really, really helpful. But if you're not having an over religious ceremony with hymns involved, you can keep it like pretty reasonable. I guess the other reason why you'd want to have a program is for the readings. So if you're having people stand up there and do readings for you, then having that copy in the program and at least the name of who is reading it, I think is always really, really helpful. Something else here, clinking a glass so the couple kisses. This can definitely get excessive, but that's usually due to one bad guest. Obviously it's not the couple's fault. I'm down to share all the smooches, but yeah, if you're that one guest doing all the clinking every 4 minutes, please do yourself a favor and stop. So that's my little shtick about that. So here's some things that guests secretly hate about their seating. Guests secretly hate seating charts. And yes, being told to sit somewhere you don't want to with people you don't want to can be tough. Or the awkwardness when your table 362. Okay, listen, I understand why this can be awkward as a guest, but logistically for the couple, you have to have assigned seating when you're doing a plated meal. The reason you have to have that is because the caterer needs to know what plate goes to what person. And if it's just, helter-skelter, you're just sitting where the fuck you want to, that ain't gonna happen. So the caterers are gonna really need to know where each person is sitting. So sorry if it's annoying, but if you want a nice plated meal, like we said we did, then that is really the only reason that can happen. Here's some other random complaints that people came up with. Outdoor weddings in the summer. I mean, I hear you, but what else are we supposed to do? I live in Montana, and the most beautiful part about Montana is being outside. And there's so many venues that this is the case for. So, the shoulder season is really short, and yeah, like it can be annoying, like, sure. But in my opinion, like, dress for the weather and get some water, get some water. We're not a fan of bachelorette parties. See, like, either a bridal shower or a bachelorette party. That's my opinion. Like, yes, going to a shit ton of events for your friend, like the bridal shower, the bachelorette party, the group party that you have with all your friends, like the rehearsal dinner, the welcome hike before the rehearsal dinner. Like, there is so much that the wedding party does not have to do. I'm with you. I think you need to pick one or the other. If you are the couple, then like we need to pick bachelorette/bachelor or a party or the shower. Do not do both. And just don't do a shower. This weird, I don't like showers, because the insinuation is like, hey, come all together and you can't come unless you give me a gift. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Something else that people hate, the guests hate, is not having an experienced day of coordinator. Oh God, yes. I'm sorry, but your sister should not be the day of coordinator. As great as she may be, there will be things that pop up that a season coordinator will know how to deal with without letting the couple know all about it. And that's what you want on wedding day, both as the couple and as the guests. And that is a wrap. Let us know what you think about this list and if there's anything that you would be including on it.